What's up guys, it's me Jeremy. Riot is generally pretty original with every ultimate ability they create because they end up being kind of like the signature of that respective champion. They aren't all created to be equal though, so some are definitely more impactful than others. It's kind of hard to decide which are the best though because a lot of the kits are designed to add power into the ultimates themselves, but we've taken that into account to try and give our list of the top 10 most powerful ultimates in League of Legends. Keep in mind we aren't really including transform ultimates like Jace, Elise, or Nidalee's ultimate because, well, they kind of aren't really ultimates at all, they're more of just like a fourth basic ability that happens to be a part of the entire champion. We're going to try and rank ultimates based on raw power, utility, and overall just how good each one of them are in an actual game on average. Let us know if you think we missed anyone, and if you enjoyed the video hit that like button, and if you don't, definitely hit that dislike. Our number 10 choice on the list is Azir. His ultimate is Emperor's Divide, a wall of soldiers that charges forward from Azir's position, knocking back enemies it hits, and forming a wall that they cannot move or dash through, although allied teammates can of course still move through the wall. It deals a good amount of magic damage too, but Azir's ultimate is more about the utility, and it's best used in combination with the rest of his kit to swoop into a good position and then use your ultimate to prevent the enemy team's escape and shove them into the rest of your team. It deals a good amount of magic damage too, but Azir's ultimate is best used for the utility, in combination with the rest of his kit to do that traditional move called the Shurima Shuffle, to swoop into a good position and then use your ultimate to prevent the enemy team's escape and push them all into your team. It's crazy powerful when used well, but the dependence on the rest of Azir's kit and the recent nerfs definitely moved it lower in the rankings overall. It's insanely powerful and wins entire games by itself when used effectively, but the dependence on the rest of Azir's kit and the recent nerfs definitely moved it a bit lower in the rankings for our list. Another important statistic for measuring the power of an ability is variance, which is essentially just the number of different outcomes to using it. Emperor's Divide has quite a lot of variance. Sometimes it might let you just destroy an entire enemy team, and at the other times you kind of might just fail to hit anyone, and so as a result it's a little bit inconsistent. It's quite tricky to use properly, and although it's a bit easier now thanks to some changes where the wall of soldiers starts moving in position from relative to Azir, you can use it for damage, the crowd control, or zoning, so it's pretty flexible, but overall there are more impactful and reliable ultimates out there for the average player. Number 9 is Sejuani's ultimate, Glacial Prison. Sejuani throws out a frosted bullet in a line that shatters when it reaches the max range or hits an enemy champion, dealing magic damage to all enemies in the area. If it detonates from reaching its maximum range, it only slows the enemy's hit, but if it collided with an enemy champion, it will stun that champion and all other enemies in range as well. This is where most of the power in the ultimate is. Being able to stun up to an entire enemy team from a distance is insanely powerful, and it's one of the things that made Sejuani such a force of nature in competitive play last year. Area of effect crowd control ultimates are always going to be super powerful because they can just straight up carry teamfights all by themselves. So a big part of ranking them is really just how reliable they are. Sejuani's ultimate power is impressive and the radius is just monstrous, but it can be locked down as a projectile or potentially even missed completely, so as a result we decided that although it is a top 10 ability, it's not as strong as some of the alternatives. So at number 8 we have Ashe with her Enchanted Crystal Arrow. On activation, it fires a huge arrow in a target direction, not stopping until it hits an enemy champion or flies off the map. Some of you might disagree with me here a little bit because it's a single target ultimate instead of an area of effect one like most of the rest of the ultimates on our list, but although ultimates like this aren't necessarily as powerful on paper because they only hit one person, they're meant to be used in totally different ways, and Ashe's arrow is pretty much the single most powerful ultimate for team comps that want to pick off one person at a time and then fight with a numbers advantage. It's definitely going to be less impactful in terms of swinging a team fight, which does keep it from reaching a higher rank, but for a single target utility ultimate, you just can't get better than this, especially when you catch someone across the map for those bonus style points, and the plays that you can pull off with Ashe's arrows are insane, and a solid Ashe arrow can just win you the entire game by itself. At number 7 is a guy that too many people might have forgotten about, which is Karthus. His ultimate Requiem is a channeled ability that hits every targetable enemy on the map with a ton of damage. Although it can be interrupted, it has insane synergy with his passive, giving him time to channel it while being untargetable for the enemy team, essentially making it 100% reliable. He can even cast it for free because while in his passive, he has no mana cost of course, so he's guaranteed to get this insane ultimate off in every single fight every time. It does a ton of base damage with a reasonable amount of scaling too, so it's a really great way to deal with squishy targets that don't have ways to dodge the damage. Karthus has fallen a little bit out of the meta because he's kind of weak to assassins and he's difficult to play correctly, but the guaranteed damage globally is no joke, and a good player can abuse it for free kills across the map constantly, every couple of minutes, as long as they keep an eye on the enemy health bars and time it right. Karthus' ultimate is something that can just secure you so many kills that no other ability in the entire game can, and as a result it deserves a spot on our list. At number 6 we have Shen with Stand United, one of the only parts of his kit that actually survived his rework. It lets him channel to give a shield to a teammate, teleporting to their side after a few seconds. Teleport ultimates are actually pretty insane because rather than having crazy direct effects, they let another member of the team join a fight instantly, and it can quickly get out of hand and just impossible to deal with. On top of the ability to join his teammates that are in a fight, Shen hands out a huge shield while he channels, letting him support from across the map before he even arrives to the scene. Global ultimates are among the most powerful in the game, and being able to save your allies and then jump into a fight instantly is crazy strong and definitely makes Shen worthy of a spot on our list. One of the really cool parts about global teleports is that it really gives the option of playing a split push playstyle, annoying the enemy team by shoving side lanes without needing to worry about your team fighting without you. After a few seconds, the fight would quickly be 5v5 again, so you get a ton of map pressure pretty much just for free. Stand United is incredibly scary when used by an experienced Shen player, and it really dictates the entire flow of the game. And it's a great way to introduce newer players to playing tanks as well. It definitely forces you to be in the front line protecting your teammates. Breaking into our number 5 is the other side of the teleport coin with Twisted Fate on Destiny. We consider Destiny to be a little bit more powerful though than Shen's ultimate, because the impact it has on the game is overall a little bit higher. A level 6 Twisted Fate is definitely one of the most scariest things in the entire game for the side laners to face, because at any moment you could instantly be facing a 3 vs 2 or 2 vs 1 fight, and he packs a ton of damage and crowd control to make the most of his ganks and secure the kill just about every time. Twisted Fate is the all-star roamer of League of Legends and is notorious in both competitive and ranked play because of that global pressure. It pretty much defines him as a champion entirely, and he's one of the most popular champions to play in mid lane throughout history because he's one of the few champions remaining that can reliably snowball an entire game, by getting not just himself fed, but the rest of his team as well. He can fill the split push role too, or use his ultimate to jump on objectives, or help defend towers at a moment's notice, and it makes him a pretty flexible choice for any team composition. The thing about Twisted Fate's ultimate is that when you play against a Twisted Fate in the mid lane, it just changes the entire playstyle of the game. You know, when I'm playing top lane, and my opponent has a Twisted Fate mid, I play that laning phase so much differently than I otherwise would have if I was playing against a different mid laner. He controls the entire map all by himself, and he definitely feels most at home along early snowball champions that he can help push ahead too. Next up in the number 4 spot we have Amumu. His ultimate is Curse of the Sad Mummy, and it binds all enemies around him, stopping them moving or attacking and dealing a chunk of magic damage. Remember what we said about Sejuani's ultimate being maybe a little bit unreliable because it was a skill shot? Well, we rate Amumu's ultimate a lot higher because although it does a similar job, it's way easier to land because you don't actually have to hit a champion directly with a skill shot, and the radius itself is also much higher. Amumu is pretty much always going to be on the front line with his bandage toss, so waiting till a few enemies are attacking him and then just popping his ultimate or perhaps using it with flash is an almost guaranteed way to swing a fight. It's still not perfect. Dodging Amumu's bandage toss and kiting him can stop him from getting an optimal ultimate, so he does have to use it in sticky situations at times, but it's way easier to land a ridiculous Amumu ultimate than a ridiculous Sejuani one. This is all about variance and consistency again, and you can really see how it sets champions apart in terms of their strengths and weaknesses. At number 3, our choice is Janna with her ultimate Monsoon. It knocks enemies back and channels for 3 seconds to heal allies, and it really sets Janna apart as by far the best disengager in the entire game. Janna's kit is packed with playmaking ability, and her ultimate is a massive part of it, because she can use it to save an ally with that clutch heal, knock back any enemy that's trying to jump on your team, or even just use it with a flash to push an enemy into the middle of your team. Janna is a champion who's all about peeling for her carry, and her ultimate is a huge part of what makes her so damn good at it. If left unchecked, she can also just heal a huge amount straight up, which can just cancel out the damage an entire enemy team has put down on your team. Monsoon is really good when used with proper positioning, and a great Janna ultimate can be the difference between winning and losing a lane or even an entire game, whether it's by surviving early tower dives or securing powerful endgame objectives like a Baron fight. Just missing out on the top spot is Orianna at number 2 with command Shockwave. The ability functions in a similar kind of way to Azir, able to crowd control and burst the entire enemy team and put them into a position that works better for your ultimate. Although it can be a bit tricky to land compared to Azir's ultimate because you have less of an element of surprise, it's arguably much more powerful because Orianna doesn't have to use the entire rest of her kit to actually make it work. A well-placed Q or even an E onto an ally with good engaged potential can set Orianna up for an insane ultimate combo. And the power it brings has made her one of the most played mid laners in competitive League of Legends in the history of the game. It offers everything a mid lane mage could want. Zoning power with the pressure that it provides on her ultimate, it offers everything a mid laner mage might want. It gives her insane zoning power on her ball just by having it in a certain position. It gives her some great crowd control, area of effect, insane damage, and the ability to destroy either one enemy or just all of them. There's been some super insane Orianna ultimates in professional play, and they really act as a testament to how powerful she can be in the right hands. Whether she's carrying teamfights with a Pharrell and Lord 3k elo Shockwave, or just straight up bullying enemy laners with her 100-0 burst potential. And taking home the number 1 spot is of course Malphite with his unstoppable force. It's a dash with a ton of damage and a knockup at the end, and while using it, Malphite can't be crowd controlled. Once he decides to dash, there's no stopping him. It's the king of area of effect crowd control. And as an ability, it's so insanely powerful that the rest of Malphite's kit is actually quite weak to compensate for it. When you lock Malphite in, you always do it for his ultimate, and unlike the high variance on other area of effect crowd control abilities like a Mumu or maybe Sejuani, oftentimes even Orianna, it's much more difficult to avoid. You can't kite Malphite because of the dash part of the ability, and once he hits a champion, he ends up right where he wants to be, in the middle of the enemy team, ready to tank and soak up as much damage as possible. The utility is huge and the reliability is just so fantastic, and Malphite's a champion that honestly kind of doesn't really do much outside of his ultimate, but has still remained a very competitive pick throughout the years, and it's because his ultimate is just that insane. And it actually has quite a lot of magic damage scaling too, so it's a big part of what makes full AP Malphite so fun to play. With his 100% AP scaling, it works by turning him pretty much into an assassin, giving squishy targets 2 choices, either time your flash right to escape, or just roll over and die. He's the best wombo combo enabler in the entire game because of this insanely reliable ultimate, and he'll probably always have a place in the meta as long as he has access to this crazy game changer. And that wraps up our top 10 most powerful ultimates in League of Legends based on their ability to impact the game. It was honestly really difficult to make this list, and it's pretty hard to compare how some ultimates interact because they affect the game in so many different kinds of ways, but we're pretty satisfied with how it came out. And as always, our top 10 lists kind of just come down to personal opinions, so please be gentle in the comments, but definitely let us know if you think we missed anyone, or maybe if you disagree with some of our rankings. And looks like that's going to be it for me. If you enjoyed the video, drop a like, subscribe if you want. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys next time.